right, ladies and gentlemen, we're looking at 1.7, which is all about perimeter, circumference, and area. Okay, we've got listed right here. You can write these down and have them on your test for tomorrow. On the perimeter of a square, the area of a square, the perimeter and area of a rectangle, perimeter and area of a triangle, and perimeter or circumference and area of a circle. Okay, you can have all of those things if you write it on a separate sheet of paper tomorrow. So where do you have to write it? Okay, can you bring out these notes and use them on the test? Absolutely not. Cannot have any examples. All right, let's move on to number 1. We're going to figure out the circumference and the area of each of them. All right, so we're looking at this triangle. We've got one side is 13. What do you think the other side of the triangle is? 13, good. And the bottom is 10. So what is the perimeter, you think? We're going to go 13 plus 13, which is 26, plus 10 gives us 36 inches. Okay, the area is slightly harder. We're going to do 1/2 base times height. 10 times 12 is 120. Half of 120 is 60. But when we do area, it's 60 inches what? Squared. Good. So far, so good? So if I give you another triangle one, you could do it on your own? Like your homework? Okay. We're going to do the circumference of a circle. That's 2 pi r. So we're going to do 2 times pi times 5. I will open your calculators in a second. Get them out. 10 times 5, 2 times 5 is 10, times pi gives us approximately 31.42 inches. Okay, and then we're going to do the area. Who remembers the formula for area? Yes, Sam?
Pi r squared.
Pi r squared, so you're going to do pi 5 squared. So that's 25 times pi. Gives us 78.54 approximately. 78.54 what? Inches squared. Don't forget that squared. You'll go get marked down. So far, so good? Okay, now we're going to do the next two are a little harder because we're going to do 2 shapes with 1. Okay? We ready? Everybody's got A and B? I'm going to move it up a little bit. Okay. Let's look at C. How are we going to find the perimeter of the rectangular part? This is 15. What's this side over here? 15. What do we think the bottom is? 8. Good. Okay, now we have to find the circumference of this half circle. So we know the radius is what for this half circle? 4. Good, because the diameter is 8. So we're going to do 2 times 4 times pi, and we're going to divide that by 2 because we only have half the circle. Do you guys see that?
Yeah.
So instead of a whole circle, we have half. So we're going to find the circumference and divide it by 2. Anybody else still confused about why I divided by 2? We're okay? Yep. 12.57. Okay, now we're just going to add it up. 15 plus 15 plus 8 plus 12.57 gives us 50.57 feet. Okay, let's talk about the area. How do we find the area of the rectangle part? Because I added everything up. 15 plus 15 plus 8 plus 12.57. How am I going to find the area of the rectangle? Length times width. 15 times 8, giving me 120. How am I going to find the area of my half circle? What's the area for a circle?
Pi r squared.
Pi r squared. So what's the area for half of a circle? Pi r squared divided by 2. Perfect. So we had 4 squared times pi divided by 2, which is 25.13. And then we're just going to add them together. And we get 145.13 b squared. I added 25.13 to 120, yes. That's how I got it. Okay, you ready? The next one's a little crazy. Okay, what do these little lines mean again? It means they're all the what?
Same length.
Same length. So we know this is 2, this is 2, this is 2, and this is 2. So good so far? Okay. So the problem is I can find the area of all of these except what? That last half circle. So I'm going to have to find this length right here. In order to do that, I'm going to use what? It's a right triangle. Who remembers how we find the hypotenuse of a right triangle? Do you guys remember Pythagorean theorem? Yeah, it's like 2 squared plus 2 squared equals, I'm going to name this x squared. So I get 4 plus 4 equals x squared. So I get 8 equals x squared. So we're going to call it the square root of 8. Okay. I square root both sides. Is that the step that I lost you guys at? Because I can't have an x squared. I have to have x by itself. No. Yeah. You're not slow. Okay. If we have a right triangle. Hold on, I'll bring it back. Calm down. If we have a right triangle, we know that if we label this A, B, and C, I know A squared plus B squared equals a hypotenuse squared. Yes? Okay. So I said 2 squared plus 2 squared equals C squared. 2 squared is 4. 2 squared is 4. What is 4 plus 4? 8 equals C squared. How do you get rid of something squared? You take the square root. So that's how I'm getting that C equals the square root of 8. We feel better? Yeah. Okay. Now comes the hard part. It's not hard yet. Because the only thing we found is this line right here. We have not found the perimeter of the outside. Okay, so we're going to take this step by step. We know that this is 2, this is 2, and this is 2. So what I've got to find is the circumference of a half circle for both of those. Okay? What's half of 2, ladies and gentlemen? 1. So the radius for here is 1. Okay? So if I want to find 2 pi times 1 divided by 2, I'm just going to get pi, right? So this is 3.14. That's the distance if I took a string around that half circle. I heard somebody go, what? Like, what am I talking? Okay. We get that the circumference is 2 pi r, right? Circumference of the circle. So 2 pi r. But we don't have a whole circle, right? We have how much of a circle? So we divide it by 2. 3.14 is my distance. Good? Okay.
But anytime you have half of a circle, you're going to always divide by 2.
Yes. It's a very good question. Excellent. All right, so right here, we have the square root of 8. Let's figure out what that is in decimals, because that might make our lives easier. 2.83 approximately. But that's the what? That's the length through the whole circle. So that's the diameter, and I want the radius. So how am I going to find the radius? Divided by 2. So my radius equals 1.41. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to say 2 times pi times 1.41, and I'm going to divide the whole thing by 2. And I'm going to get 4.43. Okay, you guys see those numbers all on the outside? I'm going to circle them. Okay, to get the perimeter, I'm going to do what with all those numbers?
Add 'em.
Good. Add them all up. And I'm going to get the perimeter of the whole thing is 13.57. Is the perimeter of the whole thing.
Wait, I didn't get,
That's
what are you adding?
All the ones I circled in black. Because those are the distances around the outside. What didn't you get?
No,
Zayla?
I get it. I was just saying I didn't write it down.
Okay. All right. I'm going to start working out the area over here. Okay. So I know the radius of that half circle is 1. So how am I going to find out what the area is? What's the area of a circle again?
pi out there.
So I'm going to do pi 1 squared, and I'm going to get 3.14. What's the area of this square in the middle? 2 times 2 is 4. So the area is 4. What about this triangle? Triangle is 1/2 base times height. So right here I'm doing 1/2 base times height. And I'm going to get 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Half of 4 is 2. Okay, and then I've got 1.41 is my radius. So I'm going to do 1.41 squared times 2 divided by 2. That's what I forgot over here. I have to divide this by 2. 3.14 divided by 2. Why do I have to do that, ladies and gentlemen? It's only half a circle. Okay, so I'm going to do 1.41 squared. I'm timesing it by 3.14, but then I'm dividing that by 2. 3.12. Now I'm going to add them all together. 1.57 plus 4 plus 2 plus 3.12. And I'm going to get 10.69 what? Millimeters squared. All right, we've got 2 more word problems on the back, which we're going to figure out. You guys ready? All right. Okay. So you measure the radius of a car tire, and you find it to be 18 inches. So here's my tire. The radius of the whole thing is 18 inches. The rim alone has a radius of 14 inches. Okay. What is the area of the outside of the tire? So I'm looking to find this outside part. How am I going to do this? So what do you guys think I'm going to do? Can I find the area of the whole tire? Yeah, because I know the radius, right? Can I find the area of the rim? So how is that going to give me the yes?
Add the area or add them together?
Not add them, but subtract. Okay, so we're going to take area of tire minus area of rim. And that's going to equal area of outside. Okay. Does that make sense?